Massive episode here today. We're talking about five running backs to avoid. You're going to want to stay to the last one to hear about the last running back because this running back could absolutely boom. And I'm talking over the moon. Well, Joe, why are you putting him into a running back to avoid list? Well, if they don't draft another running back, there's a ton of opportunity for this young candidate. So I'm excited to dive in to these running backs to avoid. Now, there's been a lot of free agency moves, okay? So I wanted to sit there, look at the depth charts, kind of see where things are shifting and moving. That's why I wanted to put out this video after all this free agency frenzy that's been going on, okay? I just did a video on Ja'Marr Chase. Make sure you guys turn on the bell. I was talking about what I thought about him getting overpaid. I'm not going to say overpaid, but like I say, T. Higgins was overpaid. He got a deal as well. So I am breaking news here. So if you're new to the channel, smash thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the bell. That bell is crucial so you guys are up to date on the latest news and reactions and the fantasy impact surrounding them. So it's very crucial. Hit subscribe and turn on that bell and drop a comment below. Let me know once I give you this list, which running backs are you avoiding out of this list and your thoughts, okay? Now, there was that breaking news just yesterday. Ja'Marr Chase getting paid 4 years, 161 million. T. Higgins, 115 million over 4 years. I think that's a little overpaid. That's 70 million between two wide receivers. And then you got Burrow averaging like 55 million a year. It's like 120 million for three players. So we're going to get to that. We're going to talk a little bit about that later. There's a caveat to it and something I want to talk about in regards to that. There's something I want to prelude to. But I want to get to these five running backs. You're going to stay to the end. Big one here. I'm going to be avoiding these guys. I'm just not going to draft them. I'll tell you who they are and why. Hit the thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below. All right. Oh, yeah. By the way, you can pre-order 16 rounds. To get the 16-round drafts, which I've linked it below. Use code EARLY to save on the 16-round drafts, which there's a code right now. Okay. All right. Let's talk about it. The first running back that I'm avoiding, and I've been pretty much avoiding all these running backs. I avoided all these guys last year for the most part. But the first guy here is Aaron Jones. Now you're saying, well, Joe, Aaron Jones had a good season last year, Joe. You know, he had what? He finished 15th amongst running backs, 255 attempts. Not bad. I like the 250 plus volume running backs. Do you know that? 1,138 yards, 4.5 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns, right? Not bad, you're thinking. But hey, man, we're talking about a guy who's 30 years old, heading into his 9th season. He hasn't been spectacular over the years. They just added Mason, Jordan Mason, younger, stronger, a little more dynamic. They got Ty Chandler there as a complimentary piece. Right now, Aaron Jones is sitting as RB23, which isn't bad for value. To me, like the way I look at players, particularly running backs, if you're on a team for like X amount of years, 5 years, first of all, I like the running back 1 or 2 or 3 years in. If you haven't really boomed, it's very unlikely you'll boom. Now, Saquon always had that talent. He's kind of a little bit of an anomaly when it comes to this because he had his first rookie year, then he kind of faded off, bad offense, then he boomed back, right? But typically when running backs shine, they shine right off the bat. And then there's been special cases where Eckler, product of the offense, did really well. But very rarely, like you see the talent almost immediately. And Aaron Jones, we've seen the best that he could offer. And, adding Mason, I think he should be the starter, to be honest with you. And, again, 11 games played in 2023 for Aaron Jones. He's missed a lot of time over those seasons. So I'm not sold on him. And the Packers got rid of him with the reason and knowing that he was on a decline. He's just not that great of a running back. So when I look, and this is your team, everybody. When I'm talking about these running backs, this is your fantasy team. I know for a lot of people, there's a lot of high stakes and you guys, really take it seriously, as do I. And you want the bragging rights, the trophy, whatever you're working for. Why settle? Why have a player that, is over 30, mediocre? He's just not going to boom. You're not going to get that major boom out of him. You're just not. So to me personally, I'm completely fading Aaron Jones. I just have no desire to get him, okay? We got 4 more running backs here. Again, if you guys are new to the channel, smash thumbs up. I'm here getting ready to pick up my kids. I'm doing these SUV rants because I love just the on-the-fly recording. It's a beautiful sunny day here in the Northeast. And, while I'm picking up my kids, I got like 45 minutes to burn here. But like, why are you picking up your kids so early? Because, dude, I'm telling you, you can't get a parking spot here. I got to park about a mile down the street just to pick up my kids. So I'm like, I like to come early, but I fit this in because I want to fit this in to get that content for you guys, to get that daily content for you. Now, I took a couple of days off, but I'm back at it here, okay? So in the SUV, sunny day, make sure you guys subscribe. Keep these content rolling for you here in the offseason and all year long, okay? Number 2 here, I'm not excited about this guy at all, is Jonathan Taylor. finished 12th last year, okay? We talked about Aaron Jones finishing 15th amongst running backs in PPR, sitting 9th amongst running backs. I think that we have seen the best, Jonathan Taylor we're ever going to see. We're never going to see a Jonathan Taylor on his pinnacle year. We're not going to get 18 to 20 touchdowns again. Last year, 303 attempts, not bad. 1,400 yards, not bad. Entering his 6th season now. Now, he did play 11 games in 2022 and 10 games in 2023, 14 games in 2024. It just shows that he doesn't complete seasons. And the biggest question mark is the quarterback. They bring in Daniel Jones. We're talking about free agency here. You bring in Daniel Jones. I don't trust him. I have him in Dynasty League, and I could have made a mistake here. I just dropped him. I got 2 other quarterbacks. He was my 3rd. I just don't want to run with Daniel Jones. I don't believe in Daniel Jones. That being said, I still think Daniel Jones is better than Anthony Richardson, a guy who can't stay on the field, a guy that was young, just never got developed. I think the offense needs help. I don't think Pittman's a true wide receiver 1. So, I don't know. I don't like this offense at all. I think the Colts have some major issues. They had, the heyday with Peyton Manning, and then they had Andrew Luck, who was good. He just kind of gave up early. He had a lot of upside, but they haven't been able to get a quarterback that's really be able to do it. They've tried Brissett over the years. They had Carson Wentz. They had all these bottom feeders that tried to get it done over the years. They just haven't gotten it done. And I just think that Jonathan Taylor, you could say, well, Joe, bad quarterback play could lead into more running back opportunities. Yeah, I don't believe in Taylor. I'm not crazy about Taylor. His injury concerns me. I'm not over the moon excited. And to have him 9th amongst running backs, I think that's very expensive for a guy who's, I think, mediocre. Okay, number 3 here. Again, stay to the end. I got the last one's going to be interesting. Christian McCaffrey, all right, was the number 1 pick across the board last year. Is the only one telling you don't draft Christian McCaffrey. Well, everybody was telling you to run, not walk, and draft Christian McCaffrey with your 1st overall pick. And if you missed him 1st overall, you were going to have to get him in the 2nd overall pick last year. And I said, don't draft Christian McCaffrey. Decline's imminent. Coming off pinnacle years, multiple years. He had injuries, played 10 games, and then combined 2020, 2021 years, only played 10 games those 2 seasons. Do not, under any circumstance, draft Christian McCaffrey. And what do people do? They draft Christian McCaffrey, who's on the front of every magazine. You shouldn't be getting magazines as well. You should get 16 rounds because that is the truth. On every magazine, he was everywhere, okay? So when I look at a guy like Christian McCaffrey, right, when I'm talking about Christian McCaffrey, he's old. He's old, right? Played, 4 games last year, right? Finished 69th amongst running backs. Now sitting 8th. Right? If I were the 49ers, I would completely rebuild this team. I would get rid of Christian McCaffrey as soon as possible. They got Isaac Guerrero there and McCaffrey. We're going to have to see what they do in the draft. I think they're going to have to draft somebody in there to, be a compliment, because I don't know if Guerrero's the solution. And injuries history with CMC, just can't trust it. They're going to have to draft another running back, but CMC is just a guy I'm never drafting again. He's done. I don't care if he comes back, has another pinnacle season. In fact, if he does, that's good, because they're going to ride him the year after as a 1st overall, right? And then I'm just going to avoid him and he's going to bust again. It's over the hill time. I think he just recently had a baby as well. So he's kind of into dad married mode now, past his pinnacle, got paid big dollars. What does he need to work hard for? What does he need to break his body for at this point? He's got nothing to work for. He's done. Incentivized, okay? Number 4 here, four fingers there, is Chuba Hubbard. Now, finished 15th last year, had himself a good campaign, 250 attempts, 1,195 yards, and good campaign. So 4.8 yards per carry, something like that. He's entering his 5th season, but if you look at his first 4 seasons or whatever, or first 3 seasons, he sucked. He was a backup, just never that good, mediocre. He's on the Panthers as question marks. They brought in Rico Dowdle. I'm staying away from this situation. I'm not sold on the Panthers offense. Bryce Young, who's their number 1 wide receiver at the time of this recording? Like Adam Thielen. They got Leggett. I get it. Like there's some upside there, but if Bryce Young doesn't get it together, which I don't know if he even will, he can only do better. But again, Hubbard 250 attempts, but you bring in Dowdle, who isn't that good. He sucks too. So you got these 2 mediocre running backs running this committee. You got Jonathan Brooks, who was a 2nd round pick, who they got to activate at some point. So it's just going to be a ridiculous, ugly committee. And you're telling me I got to draft Chuba as RB17. It's still relatively high. It's not top 5, top 10, but you could probably get a rookie running back that's definitely going to outperform him depending on their landing spot. It's going to be interesting to see where Hampton goes. Omarion Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Henderson, Travion Henderson. I got to see where these guys land. And they could offer way more upside than a Chuba, and it's a committee. There's a Dowdle, the offense. It's just everything about this is screaming, I'm not doing it. I'm not a Chuba Hubbard fan. I think he's mediocre at best. Mid receiver, okay? Again, make sure you guys subscribe. Get to the last one here. This guy could boom or bust. Subscribe, thumbs up, turn on that bell. And I'm breaking news here, guys. You don't want to miss it. Turn on the bell. Subscribe and drop a comment below. I want to make this interactive. Hit the like as well. I know I'm giving you a lot of homework. It only takes a second of your time to do all that, but I appreciate the support to the channel, okay? Last one here is Chase Brown. Now, let me tell you why I like him, why I don't like him, okay? This is very, very important, okay? Chase Brown finished 10th last year, sitting as RB11. The problem I have with him is a couple things. I'll tell you the bad first, and then I'll tell you the possible good. He was a 5th-round pick, and what I've seen typically with 5th-round picks is very simple. Teams don't believe in them. So no matter how well they do, we saw this with a guy like Algier, who was a 4th-round pick on the Falcons. As good as he did, they still drafted Bijan. And that being said, I just don't feel that he is the long-term solution. And good numbers last year. What do you have here? 229 attempts, just under 1,000 yards with 990. 4.3 yards per carry, 7 touchdowns. He got involved in the receiving game, 54 receptions, 4 touchdowns receiving on 65 targets. Not bad, right? But the Bengals are picking 17th. But here's the thing. They need a running back because I don't believe Chase is the solution. A 5th-round pick guy, based on my history of what teams do, don't believe in him, right? And the problem I have here, and they brought in Samaj Perine, or whatever you want to call him. He sucks. Paid him a couple million for a year or two. Nothing special, right? But the problem I have here, again, is just I don't think they believe in him. But the good news is, right, is that they spent so much on, going back to what we talked about, Jamar Chase, right, and Higgins are getting $70 million a year. They need to work on that defense. They need to get defensive weapons. They need a defense. They have no defense. They can't win Super Bowls without a defense. You can spend all this money on offense, but if your defense isn't doing stuff, they're not going to keep you in the game, right? So that being said, I think Jamar Chase could actually be the RB1 on this team going into the year. Maybe they draft a running back late, but is that running back going to be impactful? I think Chase is the guy that's been there. He's the one that's proven. And will a guy drafted in the 5th, 6th round running back talent come in and beat Chase? It's possible, but very unlikely, right? A guy that's been there, experienced, put up a lot of volume last year, who's also a 5th-round pick. So unless they go running back round 1, Jamar Chase is going to be the man there, unless they bring someone else in. Again, most free agents have kind of found teams and stuff like that. But Jamar Chase, Higgins are getting paid too much for them to go ahead and draft a running back. They need to address defense, the Bengals do. So that being said, Chase is kind of boom or bust. He's very expensive. RB11 right now. If they don't draft somebody, if he's going in as the starter, I definitely see him finishing as potentially top 10, right? He's not going to be exciting. He's not going to be a Saquon. He's not going to be a Jahmyr Gibbs, but he's going to be efficient. He's going to get you fantasy points. He's going to get the volume. It's going to be a good offense, right? So that's the only thing that I like about Chase. He's going to get the goal line work. So if you're interested in him, he's not exciting. He is expensive, but he could get it done. Okay, so he's number 5. I'm personally, the way this is right now, I'm going to avoid him because I feel they might just do something to shake things up. I don't know if him and Perine are going to be the solution. Perine or whatever his name is, okay? So 5 running backs I'd avoid: Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown, CMC, and Chuba Hubbard. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Subscribe, and I'll keep these daily videos coming to ya. All right? We'll talk soon, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And fantasy is just around the corner. Look, the sun is shining in the Northeast. Means spring is coming. Means the draft is coming. Well, means you're almost there. Subscribe. Drop a comment. I want to hear you guys in the comments. We'll talk soon. I'm out.